Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. A lot of great racing this weekend and a lot of it came from Australia. Alongside the Formula 1 we had Formula 2 and Formula 3 as well as 4 supercar races on the streets of Melbourne. We also had the second round of IndyCar on the oval at Texas. So after watching Max Verstappen take the win in Formula 1, what else happened this weekend? Well, make sure you subscribe and let's jump right into this video. Let's start with IndyCar. On the Texas Oval, Arrow's McLaren had a great qualifying session, but Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden moved forward at the start. The first 50 laps ran very smoothly. The first action was Will Power suffering a lack of power, and a returning Takuma Sato hit the wall trying to go around him. Disappointment for Sato, it was a pretty hefty hit. Alex Rossi managed to spin one of the Meyer Shank cars in the pit lane, which was pretty embarrassing and it wrecked his race. Over the next 120 laps, Pato O'Ward lapped everyone in the field. Only Joseph Newgarden remained unlapped after the pit stops. It was incredible pace from the McLaren driver. Unfortunately, it was his other teammate, Felix Rosenqvist, who brought out the next yellow, going backwards into the wall. After green running for the majority of the race, the end got a bit messy. Next was Stingray Robb, and then Devlin DiFrancesco wandered into the path of Graham Rahal, taking both cars out. All this mess led to a number of lead changes, with Newgarden, O'Ward and Palau swapping for the lead. Finally, Romain Grosjean spun into the wall and missed out on a good finish because of a crash for the second race in a row. Newgarden won the race, but Pato O'Ward was second again and will be disappointed that he could have won the first 2 races of 2023 if not for reasons outside of his control. I'm not a massive oval fan. This was good racing and I think we are going to have an interesting fight for the championship. Grosjean is driving really well, but he needs his luck to turn. I do think a first IndyCar win is on the cards. The Formula 2 sprint race saw plenty of embarrassed faces. Enzo Fittipaldi crashed on the formation lap, followed by Ralph Boschung moments later, spinning the car at the same corner. Both drivers were out before the race began. Kush Maini too spun on the formation lap but kept it going. Whilst in the race, Roman Stanek went off behind the safety car, followed by Brad Benavides going more off behind the safety car. As for the race itself, Dennis Hager led all the way through and never looked like losing this one. There was a lot of good battles behind, with Maini, Leclerc, Maloney and Martins all racing very closely together. The safety car came out because Jack Doohan was spun out by Juan Manuel Correa, and then the rain started to come down. Many drivers, including both ART drivers and Jehan Zaruvula, went onto the wets. But when Brad Benavides went off and extended the safety car period, leaving only a couple of racing laps, the wet drivers suffered badly. A really good win for Hager, the 5th different winner in 5 races. Jack Crawford and Maini did a good job for their first ever Formula 2 podiums. The feature race was one of split strategies. An early crash for Jack Crawford brought the safety car out and caused some cars to pit early, whilst a few stayed out, hoping for another safety car later. The majority of the race was watching the cars who pitted fighting through the field. That second safety car came when Roy Nissany ended up in the wall, and then there was a few incidents under the safety car. First, Enzo Fittipaldi spun twice and wrecked his car, and then before the restart, Victor Martins ran into the back of Isaac Hadjar. Ayumi Iwaza won, the first double winner in 2023, and he leads the championship. Hey, remember before the season started I said Rafael Villagomez was going to crash a lot? Well, at least he survived this time. He still didn't score any points. This was a good race, but it was interrupted 4 times by safety cars, making it a very stop-start affair. The first was just after the start. Oliver Gopher got a flat and ended up in the gravel. Then Luke Browning leapt over a curb whilst trying to take the lead from teammate Sebastian Montoya. A second safety car was called for Ido Cohen, who made contact with one of the Campos cars and had a big crash into the wall, doing a lot of damage to the Carlin. Then a third safety car for Tommy Smith, who wrecked his car coming onto the start-finish straight, whilst Alex Garcia caused the race to finish behind the safety car, which I think he did in Bahrain too. The race was won by a fantastic Franco Colapinto, making a move round the outside of Montoya, who also fell behind Zach O'Sullivan. Aaron and Boganovic were up there fighting as well, but Luke Browning ended up with no points, having dropped out the top 10 and then getting a 10-second penalty for contact with Gopher at the start. It was a great performance from the Argentinian. Sadly, he would be disqualified, so Zach O'Sullivan won for Prema. The feature race was pretty spicy too. Gabriel Bortoleto won lights to flag. Another feature race win keeps his title charge strong. There was a lot of chaos in the early stages. First, Franco Colapinto finished off his miserable weekend in the wall. Then Marty Boyer went airborne in a very scary moment at a very fast part of the track. Kalen Fredericks crashed whilst the safety car was out, going into the back of Solov. Ido Cohen too would end both races in the same place after coming together with Rafael Villagomez. It all settled down for a bit in the latter stages until the final lap. Dino Begonovic went for a move on Caio Collet and they made contact, dropping Collet out of the points. Bortoletto won, as I said, and leads the championship. Supercars had 4 races in support of Formula 1 at Melbourne. Race 1 finally saw Shane van Gisbergen win and get to keep it. It wasn't the most exciting race ever. Race 2 was better and started with David Reynolds being spun at turn 1 by Cam Waters and a safety car. Will Brown had got the jump on SVG and was leading. Things got too hot for Nick Percat, who did a George Russell. After the restart, things got bumpy and Shane van Gisbergen dropped to 6th, and Brody Kostecki led, followed by James Courtney as cars started to jump into the pits. Jack LeBrock dragged his car along the wall and parked on the track. This brought out our second safety car, and then they just raved a checkered flag. Brody Kostecki won the race. Winterbottom hit the wall at the start of race 3, and then it was James Courtney's turn to burst into flames. What was going on in Australia? Do cars always spontaneously combust? Are there giant spiders with Molotov cocktails? Then Jones turned Di Pasquale into the wall. Not bad for a lap and a bit. The second half of the race was a lot calmer. James Golding had a spin and Kostecki took another win. The final Supercars race of the weekend was a lot calmer than the other 3. No fire this time. Will Brown got turned around. A shame on a good weekend for Erebus Motorsport. Brock Feeney took the win after a last lap pit stop for half the field. Brody Kostecki is a shock championship leader, having finished on the podium in all but one race so far in 2023. Van Gisbergen took his first win of the year and is right up there too. A couple of good races from the Supercars. So that is all from this past weekend of motorsport. Not a lot going on next weekend. In fact, I think it is just Super Formula from Fuji and NASCAR. Didn't get a chance to talk about Jenson Button debuting in NASCAR a couple of weeks ago. He did a good job, 18th place, and apparently it was very hot. Kimi Räikkönen was there as well, and it'll be interesting to see if we get any other big names jumping into NASCAR before the year is out. Let me know what you thought about this past weekend in the comments. Remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.